What's up guys, I'm Chris and today you're watching a magic review on the Smart Memo Pad by Pitata. What is the Smart Memo Pad? Basically, simply put, this is an electronic impression device. So if anybody's familiar with the Pitata Smart Whiteboard, this is almost exactly the same, just a slimmed down version, close-up version, or this can be great for stage, pre-show, doesn't matter. Like this does it all. I remember when I was talking with the guys at Pitata when the Smart Whiteboard came out. I got the whiteboard, I tested it, and I loved it. And the only thing I said is, I wish this also came in a close-up version, and here it is. So in its simplest form, this is your Smart Memo Pad, right? It's just looks like a standard memo pad. Really not much more to it, and that's what's awesome about this, is it is very well designed, very well made. There are some other options with this. You can get this in a spiral bound top as an add-on. You can also get a leather case for this, which I have and I will show you here shortly, but just for now, this is the simplest form. Now, what's the quality on this? So the quality on the memo pad itself, like the paper pad, is very well thought out the way it was designed, as well as the technology behind it. So like I said, if you're familiar with the whiteboard, this works pretty much the same. I guess I'll kind of jump around here. I'll just tell you what you get first. So you're going to get the memo pad. You're going to get the technology. You are going to get a pen. So the pen just looks like this. Very simple design. I think it looks like a fairly normal pen, right? It's good. Then you'll get a wireless charging pad, as well as a wire for charging the pen. There are also refills for this, both the ink cartridges as well as refill memo pads. Now, if you go with the leather case add-on, which I would suggest, I will show you that here right away, you don't necessarily need to get these special pads. So this is the standard pad, and then I have here's just a refill of the standard pad, so you can get these, and then here is a smaller pad which can be used with the leather case. What's also nice about this is the technology isn't in the pad, it's in the case, so you can purchase any memo pad refill. It doesn't have to be this design or these dimensions. So with these, the dimensions are 5 inches long by 3.5 inches wide. Now, if you go on Amazon or someplace and you look at memo pad refills, the most common size is 5, like this one, but 3 instead of 3.5 here. So with that, with the leather pad, what you'll see here, this is the leather pad, and this is the one that I actually have set up right now for use. You open it up, and this is what it looks like. This one, I just have the smaller pad in. So any pad can be used in here. A 3-inch pad is going to be fine. It's just going to be a little bit shorter on each side, but it's going to work perfectly. So, if you want to just purchase a bunch of refills on Amazon or whatever, that's going to work with this. So again, with the Smart Whiteboard, it has a on-off switch that is magnetic. Same goes for this. Now, in the tutorial, when you're setting this up, there's a bunch of different ways that you can kind of put this together. The technology comes with a protective covering that is shrink wrapped. If you are using this pad, it is suggested that you cut the shrink wrap off, and you don't have to. You can just get a little bit of a better signal. Now, I haven't had any issues. I haven't cut mine off. I haven't removed it. I don't think I'm going to, because I have used it in this. I've used it in this. There are also other options, using it in a card box, using it in a wallet. So that's the other really nice thing about this, is with the whiteboard, it's just in the whiteboard, right? With this, you can move the technology gimmick. It's not really a gimmick, device, to different things. So if you want to put it in a card box with some cards, you can. If you want to keep it in the memo pad, you can. If you want to put it in a wallet, you can. So if you've watched the trailer, I think they're using I don't know if they're using the Into wallet or the Edge wallet, but basically they just slip the gimmick into the wallet, and then you can use the wallet as your impression pad or writing surface, we'll say. But if you leave it with the kind of protective covering on, it is stiff. So that's why it's suggested that can be removed. That way it's flexible and it will go in this. It'll just be like a normal pad that can bend as it should. Whereas if you're using it in this, it doesn't matter because you don't need it to bend to look normal. Same within a card case, it doesn't need to bend, but it's going to be thinner. It's going to be a little bit thinner if you take off that outer covering. Now again, I don't think I'm going to. Who knows? So, that's kind of what you get. You'll also get some stickers to cover the charging port. Then there's a little tool that you get that makes it really easy to remove the ink cartridge when you want to refill it. You'll get some steel shims, and there's just a really good way of kind of designing the on-off switch. So using the metal shims and the magnet, you basically are able to just on off from inside. Whereas if you're using the pad, there is a magnet in the pad, so when you open it up, it automatically becomes active, turns on, and when you close it, it's off. So that's the nice thing about that, is you never have to remember to move the magnet back or place the magnet back on. This does it for you, and it looks good, right? Pad also has a couple pockets if you want to put cards in there or anything really, but I think that this is definitely an add-on to purchase. The pen works the same as the whiteboard marker, so those of you who know how to turn it on, very, very simple. You can do it right in front of your participant, very discreet. The connection, super quick. So when you open the app, it's going to give you a few different options. Now that there are multiple products, you just select board, or it'll come up because your phone will recognize it and you're good to go. Now, one thing that I was asked to cover is some people had heard that you may have to press pretty hard on the pad to receive the signal, and that's not the case, at least not that I've noticed. You write normally like you would with a regular pen, and I had 100% accuracy on what I was seeing on the screen every time. Now, I don't know what the distance is as far as signal goes, but unlike the whiteboard, with this, it's going to be done close up, right? Like, there's no reason for someone to take the pad and go off 4 blocks to the west, right? But I mean, like, it's all very normal. If you handed somebody a memo pad and told them to write down a thought, take off the piece of paper and keep it with them, they're going to do that right with you. So I don't know the range of the signal, but I don't think that really applies too much with this. I haven't been able to test that out, but if I am able to, I'll just update things in the description or in the comments. But yeah, as it goes right now, I'm not sure on the range. Angles, this is angle proof, right? Like, there, as long as you can just turn around as they're writing. You can say, okay, I don't want to see you turn around. There's really no angles. Well, I guess if you're getting your peak, right, that's where your angles are going to come into play. Really no different than a peak wallet or anything where you're getting a peak, right? Like, if you can see the information and from your angle, then anybody who's looking from the same angle is going to see something. That's why I'm excited to get the palm peaker, which should be here in, I don't know, a week or so. That works. There's other kind of peaking devices out there. I'm sure this one's very similar, but basically you can finger palm that or have that set up somewhere Discreet, where you can see it's disguised as something else maybe. They've also come out with an add-on for that will look like a key fob. So that's an option. But your overall angles for you getting your peak or your information, it's going to be very similar to any other way you get a peak, whether it's a peak wallet or, an impression pad. So setup and reset, arts and crafts. The setup, really, there's just the one-time setup. You just decide how you're going to use this. If it's with the pad, you just kind of set that up with your on-off switch, have the technology in the pad, and you'll just want to charge everything. If you're using this, really no different. You set the technology in this or in your card case or in your wallet. That's really the only setup aside from, having your phone recognize the device and whatnot. Reset is instant. After the image is received, you can clear it, move on to the next person. If you're doing this, like if you're doing walk around or pre-show and you're just getting information from multiple people, it's an instant reset. Can it be inspected? Obviously they can't closely examine everything, right? I think that this is more examinable for sure because it's a completely normal pad. There's nothing to see because the technology is hidden. Same with like if you're using this in, say, a wallet, I think that is more examinable than just this in its simplest form. But the fact that you're giving them the pad, they're handling it, I think that stands for examination, right? Because it won't feel any different than a normal pad. So, if they just do what you ask them to do, and that's write down a word or a thought, take off the piece of paper, and hand it back, you're golden. Is it a worker, and who would use this? So I'd say that this is 100% a worker in any situation, any environment, whether you're doing walk around, close up, stage, pre-show, this is perfect, right? An everyday object, such as a memo pad, it seems completely innocent and fair. So perfect for any situation. Like I said, if you're doing stage, right, it's your presentation that's gonna count. So you get your information as you would any other method, and you will reveal and present however you like. Obviously, this is directed towards the mentalist, right? Impression. So what's the price, and is it worth your money? Right now, this is on Kickstarter. It is $319, and it's going to retail for $550. So I would jump on this now. You'll save over $200 if you get it now on Kickstarter opposed to when it retails. I'd definitely say that it's worth the price. Again, either at the Kickstarter price or at the retail price. I think that this is such a good tool to have as a mentalist, right? It's just easy to carry. Oh, and pocket space, right? Like pocket space, it's just a memo pad, right? So you can just throw this in your pocket, or this is a bit bigger, right? But I like this. This can fit in a pocket, right? It is a little bit bigger, but it can fit in a pants pocket. It could definitely fit in a breast coat pocket, inside or outside. So pocket space isn't bad. Now, in the PETA group, I think it's Craig who suggested this or showed what he does, and he bought some what are they? They're pen loops, and basically they adhere to a pad, right? And then it's just a little loop to hold your pen. So I ordered some of those. Thanks, Craig. Pretty sure it was you who mentioned that. I ordered some of those just so that the pen and the pad are always together. But really, as far as pocket space goes, right, this will fit in your pocket. Throw the pen in there with it, or clip the pen onto your jacket with the clip. Pros, cons, positives, and negatives. I'm trying to think of negatives, and again, it's difficult because I think that they have addressed everything, and they give you options, right? So if you don't like the idea of this, of just using the memo pad that it comes with, right, The nice thing about it is that you can just take the technology out of this. And the way that it comes, it's all protected. It can be taken in and out, placed into other things. So yeah, if you don't want it in this, or you decide, nah, that's not for me, or maybe you're worried about, I don't know, if you have any concerns, you can simply take it out of this and throw it in your wallet or in your card case, or there's so many options, right? Just get creative. You can really place it almost anywhere. As far as the signal and receiving things go, it's worked flawlessly for me with 100% accuracy. I've had no issues. And again, to those that thought or that heard that maybe you had to write hard for it to go through, no, it's not with mine anyway. I wrote no harder than I would just writing with a regular pad and paper. And pros, I mean, it's extremely portable, whether you're using it in the memo pad or anything else, right? You can always have this on you. And that's why I wanted this in a memo pad when I received the whiteboard, because I mean, the whiteboard is perfect for my stage and parlor, right? But I'm not going to carry a whiteboard around on me on the street or to a walk around gig. It just doesn't look normal. And the first thing people are going to think is, why are we doing this with a fair size whiteboard? Where this, I don't have to worry about that. So again, whether it's close up, walk around, parlor, stage, this can be used in any situation. Other pros, it connects extremely fast. You got real-time feedback. So whether you want to get your peak as it's happening, which I think once the palm peaker comes in, that's going to be awesome, right? But if you want to get your peak in real time or after, right, it's going to be there. So that's great. I don't know. I think I've covered a lot of things. This also will work in junction with the Pitata watch and time hacker. I should have mentioned that too. So good thing I remembered that. But, just like the whiteboard and time hacker, when your participant writes down a time, it will also transmit that information to time hacker, where this will as well, and to the watch. So that's great too. Like I said, you can purchase refills, ink and pads. Battery life, I'm not 100% sure on. I think the pad, it said something like standby 10 to 12 hours. And I think it takes a couple hours to charge. The pen, I think the charge time is, I'm not sure, it's less. I think probably about an hour. And I think the standby time for that was like months. So that's good. There's also indication when you're charging it to tell you that your placement is right and that it's charging, and when it's done, the LED will change. There was another kind of concern that I saw in the group on Facebook about a light when the pad is on. Now, I tested this to the best of my ability, right? I used it in a dark area. For me, it wasn't noticeable. However, if you find that you are seeing a light, there are definitely ways to fix that. A number of ways, like when you receive this, you're going to get some blue tack. It's not for that, but you can use that to kind of just block a certain area if it's a concern to you. And I think just the way that this is designed, the technology itself, it's got that protective wrap, right? So in some places it's going to be tighter down, whereas others it's a little bit like there might be a gap, and that's just because it's a wrap. So if that's the issue, right, if there's a little gap in one area, you can just throw some blue tack or a piece of tape over that, right? It's not going to affect it. It's not going to affect how it works, but it's just going to block out that light if it's a concern for you. I don't see the light with mine, but if you do with yours, there are easy ways around it. So I just wanted to address that. And with that, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I think I covered everything I can. And then also the questions that some people had, I think I covered those. So with that, I think that's all I have for now. But again, feel free to leave a comment if you have other questions. I will do my best to answer those or get you an answer. So with that, we'll see you at the next review.